Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well. I hope that in this time of challenge you're able to find some peace for yourself and for just in this situation. You know, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody who are struggling with the health pandemic. Thank you so much to our essential workers that are keeping our lives going. For those of us who are employed during this time and able to stay home, it's such a beautiful opportunity to slow down, but we couldn't be doing it without people in, at the grocery store and our healthcare workers. So thank you so much for that. I've also, so this week's theme, or this month's theme of my videos, I'm trying to find the right angle. Yeah, there you go. I have a nice picture on my wall. This is one of my favorites. Okay, so the theme for this month, there we go. The theme for this month is on choosing faith over fear. And I feel like that's especially important right now because we're going into, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, the 6th week, I think, of this period. And for those of us that were hoping for a quick resolution, this is kind of dragging out. And it can be hard to see where this is going. We're wondering how things are going to end up, particularly I suppose economically. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this is going to change things for our earth. I feel like this is a big wake-up call from our earth saying stop putting so much stress on me. So I'm curious about the green initiatives that are going to come out. I'm curious about the business initiatives that are going to be happening. There's creative combustion, where things that need to finish will finish, and new ideas that need to be sprouted, and new innovations that need to be happening, like these companies who are saying, oh, we've been thinking about going online, but now we have to. It's a time of acceleration in a lot of ways. Things that maybe would have taken 3 years to come to market, we're having to do it in 3 weeks. So I'm curious to see. I'm hopeful. I feel like life was moving so fast, and I just kept begging life, slow down. And leading up to this, it's crazy how it all happened. I feel like I've been, just begging life to slow down, and now it's finally happened. I'm very lucky that I still have an income and that I'm able to work from home. So I realize that I'm in a privileged position. It's also given me plenty of time to reflect and to also be putting forward how we want the world to look. I am hoping it's, as I've been saying, I'm hoping it's more equitable, because we're all going through this together, but we're not going through it all. Hi, whoever's joined. I would love to know who you are. Please comment. Yeah, that would be great. And I was saying that we're going through it together, but we're not going through it equally. People like me are comfortable and really happy for this opportunity to slow down. And I hope that we come out more equally, that we're going to have, like in the States, how they don't even have universal health care. And I'm Canadian. I find that strange. Why wouldn't you want universal health care, So I'm hoping that people are most vulnerable are protected. Even in Vancouver, we've got a lot of people sleeping out in the streets, and I'm hoping that that can change. And looking at where's my part in this? Where do I want to make change? Like a huge part of my business model for my coaching business is philanthropy. I want to be able, safe housing for all is really important to me, and child poverty is really important to me, and that's always been in my plan for my business, was to have a philanthropic arm. And it just gives me a chance to think deeper about where I can help, about recommitting to help, and also within my energy levels, because I feel like I've had my regular job, I've had this business, and I feel like my energy has been so pulled out all the time. And I'm really appreciating the chance to go within, to reconnect with myself, to figure out what are my values, to figure out what is important to me, to also look at my thinking. Because I've been so exhausted and pulled in so many different directions, my thinking has gotten very cluttered. And I feel like I've just been primed to to have an emergency come up that I have to respond to, because that's just been the nature of my job. And now that I'm having this opportunity to slow down, just to have more clarity and the time to reconnect back with myself and to decide what kind of a life I want to have, and to put down the intentions, and which I've done before, but somehow just life got really crazy. And I realized now, because it kind of needed me to beg to slow down. You know, my voice was in here somewhere saying slow down. And so in times like these, is to take the pause and to look at what have been in my thoughts. What have I been asking for? Am I living in alignment with my life? If I really value a certain thing, and if I really value something, am I living in accordance with that value? If I really value family, how am I taking care of my family in this period? Now, I know we're not all able to see our families, but am I communicating with them more? Am I telling them I love them more? What step toward love can I take? You know, when we can choose a more loving state. I'm not saying that's going to change the outcome, but it's going to change the way we show up in this. If we choose fear, we're just going to be contracted and really drawing back from the world. But now this is a time when the world needs more love. It needs our love to be put out in the world, even if it's just the emotion of love, of choosing a loving state, of choosing a state of gratitude, if for people who are quite protected in the way that I am. And it's very easy to worry about the state of the world. As I've said before, I take so much comfort in knowing that we are all in this together. And I was in London when the economy melted down in 2008, 2009, and it wasn't like this. You know, there's so many Facebook groups where people can say, I'm really struggling, and people will email them $20, and that's amazing. And people are donating a portion of their proceeds towards charity, and people are really trying to help. And I take so much comfort in that, in finding the helpers. And yes, I could be choosing to look at all the bad things, in the sense, of course, people are passing away, and there is no denying that. And I feel like these souls are needed to go woo-woo on you. I feel like these souls are needed for this great awakening that we're going to have. And just to say, when I put myself in this mode of thinking with love, of seeing all the possibility, of seeing how things can change, of seeing how I think things will change, because we cannot keep living this way on our earth the way we have been. I think green initiatives are going to have to take precedence. During the last recession, there was an opportunity and we didn't do enough. And now I think we're really going to demand change. Hopefully we're going to demand change. I hope we're not going to go back to the way things were. I know at least my voice is going to be louder. And just even by putting this video out, by asking people, challenging people to choose a state of love, to choose a higher state of consciousness, one that's going to see the opportunity and will ideally compel people to create this opportunity so that we live in a different world. This is the change we can make by choosing love over fear. Because if we choose staying in fear, we're just scared all the time. We're not being at our most productive. In fact, a lot of those times it's stuff that we make up. I'm not even sure that it's reality. It's maybe a lot of stuff that just doesn't always happen, you know? Like I'm thinking, I was doing a webinar yesterday on fear, and as an example, we have a tendency to fear that we're not capable. But is that even true? You know, or we think we're not worthy. That is a major fear that people have, is that we don't think we're worthy. But we pick up on that, or sometimes we very often interpret situations that have nothing to do with us, and we decide that in some capacity we're unworthy. And we carry that story with us. So even, you know, in this time of pause, this is a great time to look into your thinking about yourself. As we go into this great new reawakening, we can decide what kind of thinking are we going to take into that? How are we going to feel about ourselves? Are we going to trust in our own capability and our own worth? And are we going to affect change? Or are we going to just hold ourselves back the entire time? So this is a great opportunity to do that. It's a great opportunity to look at our thinking in general. How do we look at the world? Can we be looking at the world in the bigger picture and seeing how we can contribute to it with our thoughts, words, beliefs, and actions? Or are we just going to stay in fear and think, well, the world is just falling apart, so there's nothing I can do to help? So there's so much change that we can be affecting on so many levels within ourselves, in our relationship with life, in our relationship with the world, and our beliefs about the world, and our beliefs about this period of our lives. And if we can just slow down and choose a state of thought that is more productive, I have this quote on my wall that says, for people who are quite anxious or fearful, their natural instinct on going into any situation is to think that, what if, just to expect the worst. But we can also choose the opposite. What if this is one of the best experiences of my life? What if I excel in this? What if it changes me in a beautiful way? We have just as much ability to believe the best outcome, or as we have to believe the worst. And that thinking is going to change the quality of the way, excuse me, the way we go through this process. Now, I'm not saying it can change the outcome. Well, actually, why not? Why wouldn't it change the outcome? If you put love into something, you're going to end up with a changed outcome. If only the fact that you're a more heartfelt and compassionate human being, which I'll call that a win. So hi, whoever's joined, I would love to know who it is. Definitely just comment below. And so we have a choice about how we're going to experience this. If we choose it from a place of fear and how the world is falling apart, oh my gosh, I can really feel myself, my vibes being brought down. But if I choose this in a state of love, in a state of how can I first of all take the time to sit with myself, to look at my own thinking so that it's at its most productive? What opportunities can I look for to help? How can I affect change? Aren't we already creating a ripple effect? Aren't we already creating change in the world so that when we go back out in the world, we can physically do these things? So we have I don't know how to say it more. We have a huge opportunity to change ourselves, to be the people we want to be, to live the lives we want to live. Maybe you're not interested in helping other people, and that's cool. Like, I know plenty of people that are not interested in philanthropy, and that's totally cool. But, they have businesses. Could they be working towards more conscious capitalism? And a lot of people are, because a lot of people want to be able to kind of affect change in their own small way. And something like that is very doable. So, or again, if you don't have a business, maybe you have a family. How are you going to be the role model for your children? How are you going to raise more conscious human beings? How can you be nicer to somebody who's homeless? How can we help with that? How can you help a pet or animals in the world? There's always something we can do. And the core of that is changing our thinking, is changing ourselves to be more conscious, more loving, more compassionate, choosing a state of being that's love. What that does is, just what I mean by that is fill yourself up with more loving thoughts, with kinder thoughts, with more compassionate thoughts for yourself and other people. If that is the only thing you do already, that changes the world, because it changes your energy and your vibration and your footprint in the world. So if that's as simple as you want to make it, that alone will change the way you behave in the world, and will change the way that you go out into the world. And somebody else could come into contact with that and be like, wow, I want to be like that person. And then they'll go out and affect great physical change. So today, my challenge for you is to choose thoughts that are of greater service to you. Choose the better thought. Choose something that allows you to be enables you to be a more compassionate human being. That alone, just to be a more compassionate human being, I really feel like there wouldn't be any war if that happened. So I would love to know if that helped you. Please do comment below, and I'll be back next week with more videos. Thanks, everybody.